Welcome to Royal Secrets. Royal Revolt in Denmark. Count Nikolai and Felix stand their ground against King Frederik. In a shocking and emotionally charged development that has rocked the Danish royal family to its core, Count Nikolai and Count Felix, once adored as princes of Denmark, are standing their ground in a battle that could rewrite royal tradition forever. Their refusal to return to the Denmark at the command of their uncle, King Frederik X, has ignited a storm of speculation, heartbreak, and bitter family tension. The crux of their defiance: a powerful, symbolic demand, the full restoration of their royal titles. Once seen as the fresh faces of a modern monarchy, Nikolai and Felix have now become reluctant revolutionaries, their names on the lips of every royal commentator and citizen alike. Are they heroes fighting for justice and identity, or rebels shattering centuries of carefully guarded royal order? To truly understand the magnitude of this unfolding drama, we must look back into the heart of Denmark's most glamorous yet fractured royal dynasty. A royal dream turned nightmare, the fall from prince to count. Just 2 years ago, the lives of Count Nikolai and Count Felix took a sudden and painful turn. In September 2022, their grandmother, then Queen Margrethe II, stunned Denmark and the world by announcing that 4 of her grandchildren, Nikolai, Felix, and their younger half-siblings, Henrik and Athena, would no longer carry the title of prince or princess. The decision, according to Queen Margrethe, was an attempt to future-proof the monarchy by streamlining royal responsibilities and allowing the children of Prince Joachim, the monarch's second son, to live more ordinary lives. In effect, it was a bold, progressive move in line with similar reductions seen in Sweden and the Denmark is. But for Nikolai and Felix, it felt like a betrayal. Gone were their ceremonial roles. Gone were the public expectations, the official portraits, and most of all, the honorifics that connected them to their royal heritage. In their place, the lesser noble titles of Count of Montpezat, a title their late grandfather, Prince Henrik, once held with pride but one that carried far less public weight. For Denmark's tabloid press and global royal watchers, the title removal triggered headlines ranging from admiration to outrage. But for the young men at the center of it all, the emotional cost ran far deeper than newspaper ink. In the months following the decision, Count Nikolai, then only 23, made rare but telling comments to the press, revealing how blindsided he and his siblings had been. "We were very sad," he admitted, "it came out of nowhere." His younger brother Felix echoed similar sentiments through close friends and insiders, who described a private household racked with confusion and pain. Their father, Prince Joachim, launched an emotional defense of his sons, voicing disappointment at the decision's short notice, and the effect it had on his children's sense of identity. "They are affected, my children. I don't know if it's good for them," he said bluntly to the Danish media. But while Joachim publicly accepted his mother's final word, however reluctantly, his sons have not. And now, with King Frederik newly enthroned and facing the pressures of uniting a modern monarchy with royal tradition, Nikolai and Felix's bold resistance signals something far more dangerous than a family squabble. Sources close to Amalienborg Palace have now confirmed that King Frederik X, hoping to heal the divisions caused during Queen Margrethe's reign, extended a formal invitation, perhaps more of a royal command, for Nikolai and Felix to return to the Denmark, where Joachim and his wife Princess Marie currently serve in diplomatic roles. But instead of returning, the young counts have dug in their heels, making their conditions for reconciliation crystal clear. They will only consider returning to active royal life, or even stepping into ceremonial public duties, if their royal titles as Prince Nikolai and Prince Felix are fully restored. It's a request that carries heavy weight. By insisting on their royal identities, they are challenging the authority of both their uncle, the reigning monarch, and the legacy of their own grandmother's reign. According to court insiders, the tension behind palace walls is palpable. "This isn't just about titles," one senior official whispered to Danish reporters. "It's about respect, identity, and how much room the modern monarchy has for its younger generation." King Frederik, who ascended the throne earlier this year after Queen Margrethe's surprise abdication, has worked tirelessly to project unity, tradition, and compassion. Alongside Queen Mary, whose every gesture is dissected by the press for clues of royal peacemaking, Frederik has attempted to chart a path that honors the past while embracing change. But now, he faces a dilemma worthy of Hamlet himself. yield to the demands of his nephews and risk undermining the very reforms that were meant to modernize the monarchy, or stand firm and deepen the fractures within his family? Royal historian Anders Ostergaard told Danish TV2, "This is a moment of truth for Frederik. His entire reign could be shaped by how he handles this. Is he a unifier, or a disciplinarian? One thing is clear. King Frederik is under immense pressure to prevent this internal battle from becoming a full-blown constitutional crisis, or worse, an irreversible family estrangement played out on the global stage." While the Danish crown finds itself in the midst of a dramatic standoff, Count Nikolai and Count Felix aren't merely acting out a personal vendetta or staging a petty protest. Behind their refusal to return and their firm stance on title restoration lies a quiet, calculated rebellion, an effort not only to reclaim lost status, but to question what it truly means to be royal in the 21st century. Though soft-spoken and outwardly modest, the brothers have cultivated strong followings, particularly among Denmark's youth and the global fashion and media spheres. Their identities, once formed under the regal shadows of Amalienborg Palace, are now being redefined on their own terms, and they're using their public personas to make a subtle but powerful statement. Let's take a closer look at the methods behind the resistance, the unexpected alliances forming behind closed doors, and the growing wave of public sympathy that threatens to undermine King Frederik's control. Count Nikolai, the eldest son of Prince Joachim and his former wife, Countess Alexandra, has long been known for his modeling career and magnetic presence on social media. Even as his title was stripped, he continued to captivate audiences around the world, walking the runways for Dior and Vogue, and carving out a persona that mixes royal elegance with relatable Gen Z cool. Felix, while more reserved, has similarly gained traction with the public as a people's prince, of sorts, often seen in candid photos with friends, supporting causes quietly, or simply enjoying the freedom of a life outside the palace. Their charisma and charm have turned them into icons of modern Danish youth. They may not speak often, but when they do, it lands like thunder. Insiders say the brothers made it clear through intermediaries that they would not return to Denmark unless their birthrights, the titles they carried since birth, were reinstated. According to one palace aide who spoke on condition of anonymity, Nikolai said plainly, "We were born princes. If you want us back, we return as princes." This statement, while respectful, reportedly shook King Frederik's inner circle. A return under conditions, a negotiation of royal duty. Never before had Denmark's younger royals laid such terms at the feet of the monarchy. What King Frederik and Queen Mary perhaps did not anticipate is how deeply this defiance would resonate with the Danish people, and beyond. Social media platforms lit up with hashtags like Restore the Titles and Team Nikolai Felix, with thousands expressing outrage over what they perceive as unfair treatment. Why punish them for something they didn't choose? Wrote one popular commentator on X, formerly Twitter. You can't tell someone they're royal for 20 years and then strip it all away. Polls conducted by Danish tabloid Extra Bladet show a near 50-50 split among the population. Many citizens believe the monarchy should stick with modernization and equality, but a growing number feel Queen Margrethe's title removal was unnecessarily harsh, and are now urging King Frederik to correct what they see as an injustice. And it's not just public opinion. Several members of the European aristocracy have subtly weighed in. A cousin of Nikolai's on the German side of the Montpezat family anonymously told a French royal blog, "It is unbecoming of a monarchy to raise its children as royalty, only to disown them for optics. The boys are right to stand up." Even former Danish prime ministers have commented on the issue, carefully walking the line between deference and critique. "It is a family matter, yes," one said in a radio interview, "but royal actions carry national weight. These are not ordinary family disagreements." In the swirling maelstrom of this royal dispute, one figure stands as both a potential bridge and a point of controversy: Queen Mary. Known for her calm demeanor, regal poise, and deep sense of duty, Mary has often acted as the emotional anchor of the Danish monarchy. Her transition into queen consort has been marked by grace and diplomacy. But now, she's reportedly being urged to use her influence to de-escalate tensions, and possibly, to mediate between her husband and his nephews. Sources within the palace suggest that Mary has privately expressed sympathy for Nikolai and Felix's emotional pain, but remains fiercely loyal to King Frederik's vision for the monarchy. She respects the decision Queen Margrethe made, one insider revealed. But she also knows the boys are hurting. She's urging calm and understanding on both sides. Some believe it may be Queen Mary's personal intervention that could break the deadlock. A well-placed source even suggested she's quietly encouraged Frederik to reconsider a ceremonial reinstatement, something symbolic that restores their status without reversing his mother's reforms. But Frederik, known for his private nature and deep respect for tradition, remains cautious. He will not be seen as a weak king in his first year, one royal aide warned. Any reversal could be taken as a lack of leadership. The Danish royal family, admired globally for its sense of balance, unity, and modern values, now stands at a historic crossroads. Count Nikolai and Felix's refusal to return is more than a logistical inconvenience. It's a symbol of the deeper generational tension running beneath the gilded facade of royalty. This isn't simply about two young men asking for a return to privilege. It's about identity, legacy, and the meaning of monarchy in a world where bloodlines are no longer the sole currency of leadership. With Queen Margrethe now in quiet retirement and Frederik's reign still in its infancy, this crisis could define his legacy. Does he hold the line, assert the authority of the crown, and allow his nephews to drift further away, perhaps permanently? Or does he extend an olive branch, acknowledge their pain, and find a way to welcome them home as princes once more? In the next section, we will explore the reaction from inside the extended royal family, the whispered frustrations from Prince Joachim and Countess Alexandra, and how European royals, from Sweden to the UK, are watching this battle unfold with growing alarm. Could this escalate into a larger royal movement? Will other noble families speak out? And what would it mean if Count Nikolai and Felix simply walked away from the crown forever? But before we continue, ask yourself this. Is it time for King Frederik to show strength through compassion, and make history by healing the wounds of his house? Or will this royal rebellion set a precedent that weakens monarchies across Europe? Thanks for watching.